when considering moving to a new area, there are so many aspects that are going to be important to different people. So knowing what the amenities are, the proximity to the various things that you're going to need, what the personality of each area is, are all very important things to consider. And luckily for you, I'm going to go over all of these bits of information in all of the different areas along 30A for you. If you've been to 30A or you've heard of 30A, either way, this is going to be some great information for you to know if you're considering purchasing in the area. So there are all kinds of different neighborhoods all along 30A. We've got everything from Dune Island all the way to Inlet Beach in this video. And thankfully, I've got B-roll for all of it. So we're going to be incorporating some of those driving tours into the footage so that you also get a kind of peek into the neighborhood. If you're not super familiar with the area, not only are you going to know some different things about the neighborhood itself, but you're also going to see what it looks like. Some of the things that we're going to be going over for each of these different neighborhoods are going to be things like, are there HOAs, gated communities? What is there as far as amenities and, proximity to different things that you might need? All of these things in addition to what their individual personalities are. So let's get into it. The first one I'm going to go over is Rosemary Beach. Rosemary Beach is over on the east end of 30A. So just before you get to Inlet Beach and that area. So you're very close to 98, which is awesome because sometimes traffic can get a little crazy and you just want to get off of 30A. Maybe you need to go over to Panama City Beach for something. Maybe you're wanting to check out Pier Park or do some shopping that you didn't necessarily want to go deeper into 30A, or maybe you've already explored all of 30A, so you want to go check out something different. 98 will take you to the east and west and very, very quickly. So you can get over to any of the airports as well. So whether it's for you or maybe you're going to short-term rent out this unit when you're not using it, being in that close proximity to 98 is going to be really helpful for both you and those potential tenants. Rosemary Beach is this mix of, European kind of New Orleans style. It's very, very intimate in its settings. The houses are pretty close to each other and all the roads are cobblestone. It's really, really romantic. They've got all of the kind of commercial areas right there in the center, and then the amenities kind of strewn about. You've got multiple pools and tennis courts and things of that nature. And then the farmers market will all of that'll happen right there in the center. So it's nice to have kind of a city center within a neighborhood, so to speak. And it's still just extremely beautiful. You've got waterfront properties. You've got properties sitting a bit further back. You've got them on both sides of 30A. So really, whatever you're looking for, you're able to find. Now, Rosemary Beach does come with some great amenities, so it's also going to come with some heightened HOAs. And it does allow short-term rentals. So we're going to see a lot of, non-locals, I'll say, for the majority of the year. We're going to see, their actual owners kind of showing up, a little bit more sparsely, and a lot more tenants and short-term renters, just people coming down for vacations, kind of occupying the majority of the time on Rosemary Beach. Now, because the farmers market is right there, that's going to be an area where you can meet quite a few locals. So we tend to see a lot of locals there on the farmers market. So if you're moving here and you want a way to meet locals, that's a great option for you. Even though Rosemary Beach is a bit at the higher price point for all of 30A, it's not actually a gated community. So you can go through it and experience all the beauty of Rosemary Beach. Whether you live there or not, you can drive around, you can walk around. They have these great walking paths all under these beautiful canopied plants with these little exercise spots. They're like little pocket parks. So you can walk around, get a little exercise in or not, whichever. Maybe you have a broken foot like me and you're not really feeling like exercising right now or walking for that matter. But there's still some beautiful scenery all about Rosemary Beach. It's just a very, very beautiful area. You'll recognize it almost immediately if you've never been here before. Drive on 30A either direction. Once you hit the canopied trees over the main body of 30A, then you know you've hit Rosemary Beach. The next area I want to talk about on 30A is Seaside. You've probably heard of Seaside. It's very, very popular with tourism. So Seaside is going to be where the Truman Show was recorded. So that's pretty cool. You can walk around. I'm not going to provide you directions directions. This way you can walk around, have some exercise, and find the property yourself. It's got cute little gazebos and additional walking paths, which is great. You're going to see white picket fences all over the place and, you know, pastel colored buildings. It's really got a new urbanized development kind of feel. So it's completely different from Rosemary Beach, which we just talked about. It's not that same romantic, intimate setting. While the houses are still pretty close together, it's got more of like a kind of beachy cottage feel as opposed to a, you know, almost like a French intimacy, really. And those words are for Rosemary Beach, intimacy and romantic. For Seaside, it's more fun. It's more lively. You've got the food trucks, which are fantastic, by the way. I've never had bad food on 38. Anywhere on 38, you see a restaurant and you've got the time, go ahead and stop there. They're all fantastic. Whether you want some fine dining in, you know, regular clothes or you just want to stop at a food truck, they're fantastic, all of them. Seaside's a really walkable area. They've got an amphitheater and they've got just this great, it's kind of the way Rosemary was described, where it's got that city center and you've got all the boutique shops right there. And then, you know, once you kind of push away from that city center, you start stepping into more of the residential areas. This is where we're going to see a lot more tourism. It's going to feel a lot more touristy, especially, you know, out on the beach. You're going to pay for that. And, you know, that kind of upsets people sometimes, having to pay for that access. But just know that that's there. You've got food on either side of 30A there in Seaside. But it's still fun to walk around, look at the different architecture. They're very, very cute properties. If you're going to stay in any of them, they're all really, really adorable. Completely different feel, but very cute. A lot of times there's going to be some outdoor live music event or some kind of performance. So it's a really cool area for really feeling a sense of community, even if you don't live here. So a really cool little area. The next area on 30 I'm going to talk about is watercolor. Watercolor is even more different than, I don't know, it's just different from both Seaside and Rosemary Beach. It's a completely different feel. It's a very, very expansive. You've got all kinds of parks, waterfront properties. You've got, you know, both the coastal dune lake area and then also the Gulf area. You've got a Publix there. You cross on both sides of 38 and it's just expansive. You've got, you know, a clubhouse there, bike trail, walking trail, a great town center, and you've got a great mixture of luxury homes, condos, and short-term rentals. So watercolor is going to be maybe someplace that you're going to see a few more locals than the previously mentioned areas, but still a great location for short-term rentals as well. Also not gated, just like Rosemary Beach and Seaside, not gated. I'm going to jump over to Alice Beach next. So we're going to be back on that east end again. We went from the east end with Rosemary Beach and then kind of central-ish with Seaside, and the same thing with watercolor. Now we're going to head back over to the east, just to the west of Rosemary Beach. It's going to be Alice Beach, and it's another super iconic area, just like Rosemary Beach. Actually, they really kind of all are. You can notice the difference like immediately when you're driving through. Alice Beach is no different. You're going to see these huge, immaculate white buildings, and you're going to see the butteries on either side. So on the east end and on the west, the boundaries there of Alice Beach, you're going to see the butteries there. And everything is done in this very immaculate white Bermudan style architecture. You're going to have townhouses and large houses, and they're all amazing. Just walking through and looking at the architecture is fantastic. This is another area that is not gated, but very exclusive. You've got, you know, you've got the club there, what's it called? The Kaliza. You've got some incredible amenities. You've got some great high-end restaurants, some great shopping, but still, even though everything is very upscale and kind of exclusive in its feel, it also kind of gives back. Everyone who purchases, or actually who builds on Alice Beach, has to provide a sitting area and also, you know, a beautiful artwork to be just observed and appreciated on the exterior of the home. So there have to be some kind of steps that pedestrians can sit by, some kind of fountain, just some kind of actual addition to the property that is meant for the public, which is incredible to be both so exclusive and then so community, you know, I don't know how you would describe it, but so considerate of the community at the same time. It's just a very interesting mix. Now, if we move back towards the center area of 38, then we have Grayton Beach. If y'all have watched any of my videos from the other channel, Grayton Beach is my favorite. It is amazing. There's so much to do there, and it's got this really cool vibe. It kind of reminds me of Austin, Texas, like keep it weird. That's kind of the vibe I feel from Grayton Beach. You've got so many art galleries over here, so many artists, and then some great restaurants and bars and just live music. You've got great beach accesses. You've got the Grayton Beach State Park, which is fantastic. You can get a pass over there, only pay once, and then it's just super easy. The access to get to the beach once you're in there is wonderful, and they've even got an area for doing kayaking and paddle boarding and such. There's camping. It's just a wonderful, wonderful area. You've got the coastal dune lake right there. So you're going to see some huge houses. And then right next to them, you'll see something like super tiny. I mean, like 600 square feet, kind of tiny. Just very old Florida style houses right next to some huge new builds. So you've got all kinds of personalities in there. You're going to see more locals in Grayton Beach, I feel like, but you're still going to see a lot of short-term renters coming out in the area as well. Solid investment for sure anywhere on 30A. But if you're trying to be, where the locals are, Grayton Beach is a really great area for that. All of the areas that I've just spoken about, Rosemary Beach, Alice Beach, Seaside, Watercolor, Grayton Beach, these are all going to be, a little bit higher price point. But now we're going to step over into SEAGREST, which is still kind of central area. And it's a bit more, I don't want to call it rural because it's still right there on 30A, but it's got a more rural feel. You're going to see some larger lots. It's going to feel more like a subdivision that isn't necessarily right on the water. And not that it is a subdivision, but that's what it feels like. So you're going to see a lot of new builds out there and also some established areas as well. There's still quite a bit of dirt roads. So there's a lot of opportunity to build in Seagrove. Not a lot of, special amenities like we're going to see in the other areas, but it's great to have that option for something that's less manicured maybe, or less strictly developed, we'll say. It's just got a different feel. It's way more laid back. It's like, yeah, we're on 30A, but are we on 30A? Kind of feel. Like I said, better price point. Probably not as many tenants, short-term rentals there. Still a great opportunity for that, though. You still have that quick access to the beach, just like you do with any of these neighborhoods, but not really the area that comes to mind whenever people are like, oh, I'm going to go stay in an Airbnb on 30A. Seagrove isn't, the first neighborhood that people are going to be like, I want to go stay in Seagrove. Typically you're going to hear some of the other neighborhoods. I'm going to do some quick housekeeping just in case you guys didn't know. My name is AJ BEDDOUK, and I am your 30A real estate specialist right here on 30A with the luxury division of the Emerald Group. If you have any questions about anything that we've gone over so far, all of my contact information is up on the screen. I am absolutely thrilled every time you guys call, text, email, find me on Facebook even. It is absolutely wonderful that you guys are enjoying my videos and that you trust me to help you. I am so happy and grateful to be able to do it. All right, moving on. So we talked a lot about, the center part of 30A here just recently. So now we're going to go back to the east again. Don't worry, I'll get to the west end later. Over to Inlet Beach. So Inlet Beach is going to be your easternmost 30A community. And it's not like the others, it's just, they are all so different. So Inlet Beach is going to be your closest access to 98. It's just right there. You're like barely even in 30A, but you're there. Great access to the beaches. It is so easy. Pretty much anywhere in Inlet Beach, you are able to walk to the beach, which is wonderful. It also means it's not a huge area. Some of the buildings there, you're going to have some amenities, but for the most part, like Inlet Beach isn't like a subdivision where you're going to have a bunch of amenities. It'll just be like a couple of houses that'll share a pool, a community pool or something like that. We're seeing a lot of new builds in that area. So if you're looking for a huge house that has quick access to the beach and is a great investment, Inlet Beach is really good for that. Keep in mind, there are two sides to Inlet Beach. You've got the south side, so it's on the south side of 98, and then you've got the north side, so it's on the north side of 98. However, the way the geography works is it kind of comes to a point like this. So even though you have the northern part of 98 and the southern part, they're still both in pretty great proximity to the beach, and there's a tunnel being built so that you have easy access from the north side of 98 and Inlet Beach to cross under 98 safely and access the beach. So both the north side side and south side are probably going to see a value increase faster than the other communities, except maybe Watersound, which we'll see a little bit later because of some of the additional amenities that they're putting in. So Inlet Beach, great area for huge houses. The majority of them, it feels like, have a water view of the Gulf. Absolutely beautiful. A lot of them have these like bird's nests up at the top where you can go stand up on the roof and watch the waves. You can hear the beach from, I think, every building that I've toured over there, every house, I could hear the beach. It's so wonderful. Not a whole lot of commercial presence there. You are going to have to go a little bit west. Not a lot. I mean, you could walk to the Shades Grill, which is a great restaurant. And then you also have those commercial areas up north of 98 as well for dining options. Sticking to that east side, we've got SEACREST. SEACREST is actually kind of nestled in between Alice Beach and Rosemary Beach. You probably would have a hard time even realizing it was there if nobody told you. So SEACREST is a really great option if you just want to be super close to both the vibes of Alice Beach and Rosemary Beach. It's a bit more laid back. You're going to see some cottages and some huge homes as well. And you're also still within that really close proximity to the beach. So it's kind of like, I don't know, if you're the type of person who likes to feel different things, you know, like, oh, you know, I kind of want to feel this like romantic kind of area today. I'm going to walk over here and experience Rosemary Beach. Oh, today I feel like some really extra and fine dining kind of experience, which you can still get at Rosemary Beach for sure. And then we're going to go over to Alice Beach and walk around and feel like everything is completely exclusive and immaculate and very, very clean. We're going to walk over there. Or you can stay in SEACREST. And you're like, oh, it's very laid back here. It's pretty chill. Still great for short-term rentals. Also great for living. This is just kind of, you know, a small little community between two larger ones that doesn't always get a whole lot of mentions, but it's definitely worth it, especially if you want to be so like super close to those two environments while not paying those prices. All right, let's head over to the west end of 30A. So now we're going to talk about Dune Island Beach. Dune Island Beach probably doesn't get mentioned a whole lot. It's just not typically the place that people think about whenever they're coming to visit, but it's really, really great for locals. So this is where you're going to start seeing a lot of locals. So this is the westernmost end. It's right there by Topsail, which means you have access to Topsail as well. Really great. And you have multiple beach accesses. It's awesome. Like Dune Island is probably my favorite place to visit. It's also, you know, the closest one to my house. So like that beach access is right there, but it's very chill. You've got the coastal dune lakes. You've got houses that are, you know, huge and sprawling. Then you've got older ones that you're like, how is that thing still standing? And it's right there on the water. Holy cow. There's quite a bit of parking at the beach accesses, which is awesome. It's got a couple of really great, you know, kind of small local restaurants. You've got Kith and Kin over there for your coffee. And then you've got the Stinky's Fish Camp right across from the beach access. So you've got really great options right there and still, you know, get to feel like you're in, you know, a locals subdivision without actually having to participate in like the party scene of being right surrounded by short-term rentals. As a quick note, if this is your first time to my channel, thank you. Thank you for viewing. I appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ding the bell so that you get notified every time I do another video. I'm doing videos all along 30A every week, so if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. You can comment down below if you have a video request. I'd be happy to shoot that for you. If you are a returning subscriber or returning viewer, thank you as well for coming back to my channel. I love y'all. Let's get into Watersound. So this is going to be our gated community along 30A, and you're going to have multiple accesses, and each of these kind of have their own personalities as well. Watersound takes up this huge, massive footprint, and it's got everything, right? You've got a fitness center, you've got golf courses, plural. I'm not joking. This thing is massive. You've got multiple fitness centers, an inn. You've got a huge access to the beach, or, you know, a huge part of the beach with multiple accesses to it with these boardwalks that go over the dunes. It's fantastic. The clubhouse is amazing. It's got this, you know, multi-entrance infinity pool that's super cool. It's got just so much character and personality. You're going to see a lot of locals here and also a lot of short-term rental tenants. These rent out so well. You've got some cute little cottages that don't let the size fool you. The entry point as far as price point into Watersound is not so cute, but it's worth it with everything that you get. They've got condos with water view, really close access to the beach. There are little dog parks everywhere. And you've got, everything that you could possibly need. So if you're considering moving to 30A and you're like, I don't want to deal with all the chaos that's going to be going on in the rest of 30A, Watersound is a really, really great neighborhood to consider. Watersound also has a northern part on the the northern side of 98 called Watersound Origins. Now, that community, while loosely connected to Watersound, is not going to have access to those same South Watersound amenities. So basically, you just kind of get the name, but they have their own HOA and their own amenities, and they do not allow short-term rentals. So if you're considering moving to 30A, but you don't want to deal with short-term rental situations, Watersound Origins is a really great opportunity because, once again, they have everything that you could possibly need. It's even got a Publix there, and you're still in super close proximity to the beach. Don't get me wrong, there are a couple of little subdivisions along 30A that do not allow short-term rentals. So if you're considering moving to the area and you vehemently don't want to be near short-term rentals, all of my contact information is up on the screen, and I can help you to find out which ones those are so that I can send you properties that actually match that criteria and make sure that you're not going to be seated next to a party house. The last neighborhood that I'm going to go over on 38 is Gulf Place. Gulf Place has a special place in my heart because it's got this cool little shapes, like a little half of an octagon really, and you've got some great restaurants right here, some great coffee, and right across the street is a fantastic beach access. I really have a problem with having a hard time parking. Don't like it. I probably talk about it in every video. You want to make sure that I'm not going to come to something, invite me somewhere where the parking is stressful. I'm not going to go. It's not going to happen. It's just not worth it. So I really love Gulf Place because it has such great parking. You've got Shunk Gullies right there, which is fantastic. I love the atmosphere over there. They've got great food, great beverages, great atmosphere. It's multi-level, so you've got the bottom level and the top level, so you can see the beach from both, which is wonderful. You've got the beach access just right across the street, and there's tons of parking for 30A, and you've got the beach access just right there. So it's really great to just walk over to Shunk Gullies and have a beverage, have a meal, watch the sunset from there, and it's just a really, really great experience. Gulf Place, you're going to see a lot more condos. You're going to see some townhomes there as well, and it's got a community pool and quite a bit. It's very commercialized. Gulf Place is really, really, I feel like it's geared towards short-term renters, but it's still not a bad place to be, especially if maybe you're younger and you like, making friends with people that are just going to be there for a short time and maybe seeing them for short spurts each year, something like that, or you like being that walking distance from a great beach access and to a couple of restaurants. It's also very quiet. Even though this is a great spot for short-term rentals and we see a lot of business here from that, it's still really quiet. So when you go to sleep at night, you're not listening to something crazy, which is kind of surprising. All right, if you're still with me, then I must have entertained you or told you something that you didn't know. So please go ahead and hit that thumbs up so that I know I did a good job on this video and others know the same. And I will see y'all at the next one.